It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles.
Welcome in at Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. It's the Friday before the big game. I'm Jeff Parles, and we have a full boat here today. Vinny Magliulo, Chris Andrews, Jimmy Vaccaro, all on site, all ready to go. Vinny, I needed to do some math, but my math skills are failing me. Everyone at this desk, 40-plus years of experience here in Nevada alone.
147 plus.
147. That's
Plus.
the exact number.
Working on 150.
Working on 150.
Yeah.
He's got the Brando impersonation going.
I'm waxing my Marlon Brando.
There we go. Chris, we've made it. We've made it. We're now into the weekend.
Yeah. Well, Michael Gaunt was back in our office. First thing he says, "You're wearing a tie?" I said, "Michael, it's a Steelers tie. It's all Steelers weekend for me today, or this weekend. Steeler tie today, Joe Green shirt tomorrow, Franco on Sunday."
You know I'm not playing in the game, right?
You know,
Don't
my
tell-
team has won 6 of these things.
Don't tell him that. He doesn't. Don't. He's all excited.
Well, Niners would equal with a win
I know.
on Sunday. Our guy Frank Nicotero has mentioned that at least once or twice.
I think I heard him once. Yeah.
through the week, and of course, Jimmy to my left. I actually want to start with you, Jimmy, where you tweeted out a picture today of a very large San Francisco wager.
Yes. Where do you want me to go from there?
No, I just want you to comment on it.
Cue the picture.
All right, give me like
so 38,000 at minus 125 to win 30,400.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, you missed the one before that.
And the other one was 205,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bearing the lead, I know.
Okay, yeah. All right.
205,000 at minus 125. That's $164,000. That's a nice return.
The 205?
Yeah, the 205, 164.
Right.
Obviously, when you get to this time of the year and with the big game coming up, there's not going to be anything that gets refused. That's for sure. So when the gentleman came in yesterday, that he talked to Chris about it, then he showed up today, and bang, here he goes. He makes his bet, and it was just very easy to do because obviously we're run by the people who understand how to run these things. So that was taken. Then obviously a little later, he might have forgotten something. He chimed over, and there he was for another 38,000. So I'm sure what you see anymore is like something quite different than it was when my two friends over here were doing this, some 40-some years ago. You might get something like that maybe one time during the whole shigamadoo, whatever, to start the Super Bowl. But here we are now, and who knows? We might get a couple more, Chris.
I hope we do, really, because I know Crackman tweeted out some really good things about us earlier today. He was surprised that we're at 205. Just like a special for today. I said, no, Crack. We've been there since, I think, either Monday or Tuesday of last week. Once the number kind of settled in, we went to 105, and we haven't moved it.
And the the minus 105 has to be bet
at the
behind
counter.
us.
Has to be bet at the counter, yeah.
Not available on the app.
Not on the app or at the kiosk. You have to come to the counter. It's minus 105. And we've kept the dime line on the money line. And even now, the guy, finally he budged me. I was at a quarter for a long time, but he budged me up to 30. But we're using a dime line there, so it's 30 plus $1.20. And Vinny and I were laughing before. We might be back to a quarter before you know it, because there's a lot of Kansas City money coming in now.
We might before we get off the air. So it should be. I think it's going to be good action, and remember, we're probably about 75-80% of the money yet to come.
What you see now is a little different than it used to be. What do I mean by that? Michael Gaughan's the owner of the casino. Obviously, he's the man who pays all the bills, and obviously, he understands the business. He's surely been around naturally with legacy with his father, Jackie Gaughan, who opened up the Union Plaza, some 40 years ago also. So what I was trying to get to is used to be a time, I'll go way back, when our 147 years might have been 60 years total for all of us. And you might have seen something like, okay, we're taking the one big bet, and we know who we're going to need for the game because this guy just bet a lot of money. Those days are gone. I mean, Chris actually gets all the bombardments after that, and we've all seen it now. You could switch who you need with 10 minutes to go before kickoff.
Absolutely.
Because that's the type of money that's bet anymore. So when you get something, okay, we need this, we need Kansas City for $135,000 plus all the prop bets are leaning towards that. you could get completely switched, Chris. Tell them how it works, buddy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've told the story. I guess it bears repeating again. I think I told it yesterday. We had when Philly with Nick Foles played New England, we had nothing but New England money for 13 days. And then the last day it was all Philly money. So we all week, for 2 weeks, I was telling Ryan Growney, our general manager, Frank Toady, Michael's partner, and Michael himself that we were going to need Philly. We were going to need Philly. Then all of a sudden I said, we do not need Philly. We need New England. And Jimmy and I and Vinny was there. We maneuvered. We maneuvered all the props. And we wound up having a really good day, even though Philly won that game. But that's got to be one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time. But we maneuvered a lot of stuff, and we got switched around the last day. And fortunately, we were able to make some good moves and get it going in the right direction.
Only takes one bet. One bet will get you completely turned around from where you are. So
that was a good day. Philadelphia.
That was good.
it was a good day.
Oh, you're a Philly fan?
No, I'm not a
As an
Philly fan.
investor.
I had Philly that
Yeah,
day.
you had Philly?
I had Philly that day, so it was a good day for me.
Well, it's funny. The Patriots never punted once and lost.
Yeah.
They had Brady had like 500 something.
That was the most passing yards by a quarterback ever in the Super Bowl. They did in a losing effort.
Yeah.
And probably the biggest, just looking back at it since the millennium turned, the biggest quarterback upset by a pretty significant margin.
Oh, wow. Nick Foles
beating Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, Nick Foles was contemplating coaching high school, I think, earlier that year.
Exactly. Carson Wentz was the MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Philly was a home underdog to the Falcons in the second round as well.
Yeah.
A lot changed very quickly.
Yeah.
The Philly
As they went
special.
along. Yeah, the Philly special. Absolutely. Hey, that would on a Kansas City or a San Francisco special though would complete a few props this week, Chris.
I hear a lot of guys keep telling me they agree with you that one of these guys is going to try to pull something. Mm-hmm. I know you bet the number of complete.
I bet both. I bet one book had over 2.5 players to attempt.
Okay.
Just to
Ours
attempt.
is to complete.
Yours is to complete.
Yeah.
And another book in town had it as well at 5 cents better for the better, at least for me on the yes side than you guys had. So I took it there. But I have over 2.5 players to attempt a pass and then 2.5 players over to complete.
I hope you win it.
I hope I do too.
Yeah.
I would agree on that.
We're rooting for you, Jeff.
Absolutely.
And in everything else, let me switch it for a second here.
Please.
My two friends here are going to chime in. It's a business.
Sure.
It used to be just a book. Now it's a business. Obviously, things change, and you have to watch what you're doing. I mean, Chris has to go to budget meetings. He has to go to all these type of meetings. So because that's part of it. And just I throw this out because people think, oh, yeah, you guys are, to show the NFL games for the season. You ready? We are at $93,000 a year. We have to pay the NFL in order even to show their games. And that figure keeps going up year after year. And remember, and a lot of people don't understand this, we're the head studio here for Michael's operations, and actually with the Rampart and the Mesquite or whatever. You pay separately for all the casinos. Like the $93,000 doesn't take care of everything that we do. So just throwing a little tidbit out there. We get a lot of bad press at times. Those bad guys behind the counter don't know what they're doing. Well, for openers, I mean, obviously, in Chris turns it over to our guy Tom. There's a million things that must be done every year. It's a different business, but we all love it, and we ain't going anywhere.
Well, I remember when they first hit us with the 25,000.
Yeah.
I remember us going nuts. Are you crazy? We're going to pay $25,000 to show games on TV that are essentially free. Here we are paying $93,000. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? They know they got you. They know they got you.
Yeah, pay-per-view's a line item now.
Well, I mean, at least you don't have to measure television screens in big game parties anymore.
Exactly. You remember those days, huh?
Well,
young man, you've heard about him.
Well, I've heard about him. Actually, one of your
Jay Cornegay.
Exactly. So Jay Cornegay was on local radio with Steve Cofield yesterday.
Oh, really?
He was driving around, coming on in, or actually, I think I was leaving yesterday, and they were having that discussion actually, and I was like,
unbelievable.
I remember you taled to me about that a while back, Vinny. That was the case.
There was a run on 25-inch TVs, and because that was the max, under the guidelines. But we've come a long way, and thankfully we can show it throughout the property now.
The NFL guy would come and say, "Well, this seat this room seats 400 people. You go, well, the fire marshal says it's 240. Hey, we say it's 400. You're paying for 400. Okay, what are we gonna do?
And
you're gonna pay it.
And remember, now we pay for baseball, hockey.
Oh,
we
yeah.
pay for everything now.
Yeah,
But then don't feel sorry for us. And you're still
Don't ever cry for the bookmaker. Don't cry for the
Poor
bookmaker. Save
us.
your tears for somebody else.
No.
For us.
I just want to, not individual props, real quick, just as a whole. Chris, you and I were talking about this off the air yesterday when Jimmy and Vinny came in. We talked about this a little as well. Just the fact that there's still a 2+ days until this game starts now, a little over 48 hours from now, that you're looking at record prop betting here in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to add up. I mean, you see it. We got 300 props, and it's hard to just go in and get a number. That's not the way our system is set up. But I got to tell you, I think right now we're over 2 million in props. I think right now. And I don't think it'll double before game time, but it might. It'll probably be right around there. I shouldn't say it, but probably has a good chance to double.
In every prop.
And we might be more than 2 million right now, too, by the way.
And every prop has action.
Every prop. I went through every single prop has at least $100 on it.
Are they betting heads or are they betting tails?
Oh, they always bet. We need tails every
year.
You need tails every year.
We need tails
I
every
told you
year.
that story.
Even with tails never fails.
It doesn't.
Pull the money out of your pocket and go bet it.
I am not betting. You know my stance.
You're way too smart for that.
No, I was going to say I can be a little bit crazy, but that's too crazy for me.
Yeah. Flip a coin with me and Vinny if you want to lay 102.
Sean, you got it right now. You got a coin. We can do that. We'll lay it for $1.20. We can go right now. It'll be very good.
I have one.
Heads
I win, tails you lose.
No, that's good. No, I'm good.
Oh.
Sean will take that action. We talked about this also, and you brought it up too, because the money line price with going to a dime line, the best price in the country right now in the Kansas City Chiefs is 10 paces behind me.
Yeah. Well, I think our one friend who's sitting over there asked me earlier, because the guy that bet the $250,000 originally, he was going to bet $200,000 on the point spread and $100,000 on the money line. He says, "Is that a smart bet?" I said, "Well, yeah, because both prices are the best prices anywhere.
Yep.
Both of them, and you can mix your." You can mix your action. I think there's nothing wrong with that. And, in case it comes one, you still get a little bit of in back in your kick. But, that's the way it's been. The best price anywhere is right behind you for either team you want. Team you want.
Right.
So,
And don't forget the 105. The publicity we get on the 105 is insane.
100%.
And Chris, that was all Chris.
Well, it's another thing where, Crackman was asking me about, why do you guys do it? I said, well, Crack, look around. Michael Gaughan wants traffic in this joint. It seems to have worked out well for him.
I would say so.
Give his philosophy.
I would say so too. Yeah.
Give the players value.
Yeah.
There's value.
Well, not only that, you do this after the first weekend of the NCAA tournament,
Yeah.
Sweet 16,
Sweet 16.
and through the end of the tournament, minus 105.
Yeah.
I mean, through the years, I've made an effort to make sure I bet those games here because I'm saving money in the end.
Well, we always have a tight straddle here, and there's occasionally guys that might beat us on this price or that one, but overall we have the best straddles, anyway, including, the internet. I watch those prices too. We have the best straddles anywhere.
Some of those new age books don't have the best of straddles.
Best of straddles,
to
my
put
God.
it politely.
Yeah, like I said, I think I tweeted out I was up in Montana visiting my daughter
That's-
before football season. Oh, I took a
sports
picture
betting.
of the board.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
the worst board I ever saw in my life until a couple weeks ago. And
You got beat.
Who was it? Somebody texted me there.
Was it Washington, D.C.? Because I know
No.
Washington, D.C. has that sort of problem. as
Jeff,
well.
I can't remember. But somebody says, "Oh my God, I thought Montana was the worst board I've ever seen in my life." Somebody was actually worse, and I can't remember who it is because you would never dream of going in there and making a bet. It might have been Tennessee.
Possible.
Tennessee.
It's possible that I've heard that before.
Yeah, might have been Tennessee.
Washington, I know a few friends in Washington, D.C. who make sure to either go across to Virginia or now with Maryland as well, legal, go across into Maryland.
Yeah.
Pays to shop.
Yeah, well,
By the way-
it pays to have Metro access too, Vinny.
Whoever you have to shop. By the way, total over money coming in as well.
That was
a
what
lot over, yeah.
that was what I was about to bring up because just looking at the market, you're the lone 48. Everywhere else, 47.5 blanket
That's
across.
6 figures, that we got. I finally budged, but, Jeff, and I've said it before, sometimes you're better off being first, and I tried to hold the 4 because I kind of like it under. I think this is going to
I
be
agree with you.
a strategic game. So I think we tend to look at these players as great fantasy players, and that clicks in your mind to the over. But I think the strategy in this game is both teams, I think, are going to try to run the ball, and I think they're going to try to be conservative because they know it's going to be a real tight game. I've seen tight games that are 54-53. You know what I mean? So, but I think I kind of like the under. I'm not a big totals guy. I'm not very good at it. But finally, like I said, big 6-figure margin. I mean, I finally had to go.
The general public loves points, and they're going to stick with their favorite players to go over, and they're going to stick with the game to go over.
Well,
That's the general public.
One of the bets I was on radio in St. Louis earlier today, and I was asked about 49er offensive props. One that I've already bet, which is complete opposite of what Vinny just said, just based off of price. I bet McCaffrey not to score.
Really?
In this game.
Well,
Now,
you got a big price.
I don't know, I got over $2.
Yeah,
I mean, is
So
it
believe it
gonna,
or not, we actually need him to score.
Yeah.
But not for a huge margin, but a little bit.
Yeah, it was the way that just going against what, again, everyone on Sunday morning probably going to come in and, it doesn't matter that it's 20 minus 260 right now, right?
It might be 260.
I think that's
Yeah, I
what it
can't
was when I
remember.
saw last. But regardless, by the way, guys, I just want to bring this up. I brought this up yesterday, but I don't know if Chris heard. Chris, on Media Row, when I had the South Point polo on and everything, the number one question I got all week,
Hot dog cart.
where's Jimmy?
Oh, where's Jimmy? Yeah.
What-
Yeah. He's an American icon.
I'm right here.
Oh, no, I know you're right.
To your left.
And let's bring this up because it's always a neat subject to talk about.
Yeah.
And we were around when the props were about 3% of your total business with the game. We are at what, Chris? 50% has been the number.
I was just thinking. I mentioned that $2 million, and I said we're way past that. Way, way, way past that.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, what do they count in as a prop? When we're not the only ones. Everybody does it. Your future book, they throw in as a prop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, that puts us way over $2 million. I hate to tell you.
You're booking for a year.
Yeah, that puts us way over $2 million. So it'd be interesting to see what we wind up with, but it should be. I think it's gonna be more than 50%.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot. And obviously, like both my friends mentioned also, it's like we started booking this stuff as soon as this game is over Sunday night.
I already
And
got
then-
next
You already
year's-
got the numbers?
Next year's
we-
futures.
you put them up already
It's
then?
the
Yeah, for next year.
Oh, there they
next
are.
to last page.
Yeah.
Don't
Next to
wait.
the last page. Wow.
Reinvest.
And what it does for obviously with all this time, and I, throw the kudos here to my good friend here, Mr. Chris Andrews, is like he nurtures that thing the entire day until like the next kickoff in August or September, whatever it was. Because obviously, if you know what the hell you're doing, and he does, and Vincenzo throw him in there too, it's simply you have a lot of room to take care of the liability if you just do the right thing. I don't think a lot of kids even look at that stuff anymore. And I know because I'm there every day, I see them. It's like it's at least once a week you go through everything.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
And just move things. So,
Yeah.
and that's a big, big difference on something that you normally wouldn't even think about 25 years ago. Now it's on the docket.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Jimmy.
Jimmy,
You know
I did the
what-
same thing. I was one of those guys. I set them in the
Yeah.
beginning of the year, and I just kind of forgot about them.
Mhm.
You know, when
So-
you're booking them for a year, you could have a cushion,
Sure.
or you could have a liability going into the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and that helps determine your opening number as well.
Absolutely.
You know.
By the way, on the if you're new to everything, the last page of the prop document is a nice little betting information page, which is
Mhm.
always helpful because especially if you are coming into town Sunday, get to the window. Jimmy, you can say it into the mic right now like you do every single Sunday.
Type that number, bet amount.
There we go. Get them all ready to go
Be prepared.
and be prepared.
Can I
For
say
sure.
one more public service announcement?
Please.
Not just for the South Point.
Yeah.
But I speak for the entire industry. Don't come in on Sunday morning trying to get a nap.
Yeah, don't do that.
Come in. I mean, we're Friday now. You have all day tomorrow. Because I tell my people, be as nice as you can. But, we're only human.
Yeah.
We got a million things going on. Now some guy wants to open up an app.
3:15 Sunday.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do it. Please come in today or tomorrow, don't come in Sunday morning to open your apps.
And tell them out there how many places you can bet when you come to the South Point. I mean,
We'll have
You'll have
12 windows,
12 windows.
11 kiosks, 6 of them, 6 or 7, I forget,
6,
upstairs.
I think it's 6, yeah.
6 upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And by post time, we'll have ticket writers in the race book as well.
Yeah,
At least 3, I would say.
I do have one question, actually, because, of course, all of our events upstairs as well. The minus 105 for the ticket writers upstairs, will that be available as
Sure.
well upstairs?
Yeah.
So as long as you
Not at the kiosk, but
as long as
ticket
you
writers.
go to a human,
Yeah, you
let
go
him
to a human.
hand your money to
Well,
a
we have a
human.
couple AI robots. No, we don't.
No, I don't know. I went to
Go to a human.
the show at the Sphere a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
AI is definitely taking over at some point, but that's a
You know,
different.
even when I go to the grocery store, I've refused.
You don't do the self checkout?
No.
No.
I want to keep them employed.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's
man of
good
the
point.
people,
That's a
Jeff.
good
I want to
point.
keep them
Weren't
employed.
you the guy on top of the sphere?
Boy, yeah, I was pretty wild, wouldn't I? Would have, Jimmy. I would have been dead at least 15 different times.
I'd
if I
just leave him
attempted
up
that.
there.
I think I agree with you. Actually, I think like you got yourself up there. Good luck getting
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you.
We went from laying 105 to a guy on top of the spheres. You talk about that's like with everything that goes on in this town we don't know about. We know everything about everybody.
Oh, I will say this week with being down at Media Row, being on the Strip in general, being down at Fremont, being on this property. Turn your head one way, turn your head another way. You're gonna see someone. You're gonna see. Saw the commish the other day at the Wynn.
Oh, did you?
Roger Goodell just walking right through.
Wow.
Obviously everyone at Media Row, but that's a little different. But there are a ton of people in town this week, and I know we've talked about haters. Usually 300,000 people here anyway.
Yeah.
The week of a Super Bowl.
I know.
I know the early projections were probably around 400,000.
I think so.
I think we're gonna be closer to about 550 at this rate.
They can't all go to the game.
Well, I know that.
But they'll all watch the game.
Well, they'll all watch the game. Well, a lot of them.
And a lot of them are going to bet on the game.
Well, I was going to say of the 500,000 that come into town, I would say the over under is 80% of people on that.
Yeah.
That's right.
At least have $5 on this game.
Sure.
On Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Couple public services.
Please,
So we
go
got
for
a
it.
lot of listeners out there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Couple things I would tell you. It's very tempting to tease the game with the total.
Oh,
I don't think you should do that. Go look at some of the alternative, because you're laying a price,
yeah.
whether you know it or not. You are laying that price. $2.60, $2.80, depending on what, $3, depending on what size teaser, whether 6, 6.5, 7. Try not to do that. Go look at some of the alternative totals with the spread. And I mentioned this on Frank's show, and I try to say it. I mean, it comes in. I mean, listen, it's $1.55 underdog. But the 3 scores in a row, where teams score 3 consecutive scores, the no looks like it's how could they? It's a sucker bet. Public service announcement. Go back and look through all your box scores. Most times there's a game where the team scores 3 in a row, 3 times in a row. And like I said, Jeff, the first one's like a gimme. You know what I mean? The first one, of course, 1 score. Then you got 2 more. It comes up more often than not. But people love to bet the no on that.
Well, I remember the first Super Bowl that the second Super Bowl I was out here, the one right before the pandemic. These two teams.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
were on with our friend Gil Alexander,
Yeah.
who said exactly that. Bill Krakenberger later in the week, who you referenced earlier, said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That no looks so good with that plus
I
price,
know.
but it very rarely comes in these Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're talking about a dog of $1.55 or something.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't win all the time.
Of
you know.
course, yes.
But I'm just
could it
telling you-
happen? Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just telling you, the smart bet is usually on the yes.
And remember,
2 public service announcements.
2 scores is not a touchdown and the extra point.
Right. Doesn't count extra
It's
points.
1 score.
Well, remember there are
Stipulations.
Get your packet. Stipulations on a lot of
them. Yeah.
on a lot of these. Make sure you read. Don't come up to Vinny on Monday morning.
Please.
I know you love that.
Please don't.
Why wasn't I paid on
Oh,
the
yeah.
game to be tied after 0-0? It was tied at 6-6 before the Niners kicked the PAT.
Yeah, I know.
No, that doesn't. Jake Moody made the kick. He didn't. That's not a winner.
Yeah.
Jake Moody misses the kick. Then it would be a winner.
Never
in that
know.
spot.
Yeah.
And please don't ask us about other properties' tickets
Yeah.
on Monday.
Yes, don't
Please.
come in here with a stations ticket, guys.
With all, just
Yeah, I'd like to
They'll
follow lost
explain.
ticket claim. Where'd you bet at the stations? Okay, you better go there. I would say.
Chuck Esposito,
We're not the
that's your problem.
commissioners.
Yeah, Chucky. Sorry,
One-
buddy.
one
We're not
more
the
We're not going to
commissioners.
take care of that.
Yeah, go ahead, Chuck.
One more public service. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
We have to wait till the NFL sends out the absolute
Yeah.
official stats on the game.
Mhm.
Because what happened the first couple of times we got stuck in our behind was like, okay, the quarterback ran for 43 and a half yards. Then we're like paying 43 and a half yards. But then when he kneels down taking the sack, it's
That's a rush.
subtracted.
Yeah, it's a
Well, nobody would think like, who would know at the beginning of like when we did this a few years ago? You got to look at the rules before you want to do this stuff because we have to wait. And you know what? It's the best thing to do because there's no, this is it. They give you the NFL sheet, but it takes a couple hours sometimes.
a good 2 hours.
So you got to wait around for that. So again, use your head out there.
To get them all in takes a good 2 hours.
Patience is a virtue. If you won your bet, you'll get the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It'll be in your account. It just will take some time
Yeah, we'll
On,
get you paid.
on Super Sunday. Well, all I could say is we talked about this before. There will be some weird ones that come in.
The missed kick a couple years ago.
Well,
Oh, the missed
Missed extra point.
I actually don't mind betting there will be one, except people have bet there will be a missed PAT, which is not really surprising. You see a juicy price. Now, granted, the problem is on one side, you have a guy who's essentially automatic at this point in Butker. Moody's a little shaky, but he's been good on extra
I
points
know.
this
I've
year.
been saying it all year, though. That might be the thing that comes back to haunt the 49ers.
What about the safety on the first play of the game?
Well, if that
Oh,
happens, you'll well, again, it's not it's 2012 or 13 again.
Oh, those were
Oh.
bad. Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
And Tom Brady, like the two best quarterbacks of our generation.
Well, no, there was the Bronco one was all the center. That was all the center, just snapping
Okay.
the ball.
You
into-
still gets to catch
oh,
the pass.
yeah,
yeah.
look, he snapped the ball into the
Snap
swamp
into-
there at the Meadowlands.
Into the snowbank.
But Brady's we talked about this
Yeah.
last week. Brady's one was an intentional grounding.
That's 100% on him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100% on Brady. It was craziness. First score of the game. What is that? Niners safety. Don't put that graphic up. It's a little jumbled on there. But 60-1 on the Niners. They get a safety as the first score of the game.
Yeah,
To keep
I
the
actually-
trend of future Hall of Fame quarterbacks
Yeah.
getting safety early in the game in the Super Bowl, Chris.
I actually went through and tightened up all those because we're in really good position with all of them. So I reduced gave better prices on virtually every one of those, so just looking for action, listen, that's the way we do things here at the South Point. I'm serious. We did, I tightened up the straddles, so we got a little less working for us, but we want to bring in some people and we want to write some business.
And there's things that we can't book. Let's remember those.
Yeah.
Color of the Gatorade.
Length of national anthem.
Yeah.
That's the big one. yeah.
That's the big one.
Certain celebrities being seen X amount of times and proposed to. Somebody knows those answers.
Can't no betting in Nevada on what song will Usher sing first
No.
Yeah.
either.
Somebody knows the answer,
Yeah.
and it could be influenced. So
I remember our old friend Gil Alexander was Bruno Mars going to wear a hat or not? And Gil was all over the not because he knew Bruno just got a new haircut. He won that bet.
there you go.
That's a great one.
I'm glad we're not booking that one.
Well,
Gil,
that-
shout out to you, our dear old friend.
That's great. I forgot that one.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we'll keep everyone here. We'll go through some of these props, what have been hit, what are the bettors liking so far, and we're right on 48 hours away from kick right now, or at least scheduled to kick a few miles north of here at Allegiant Stadium. We're back with more next. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Our gaming amenities include over 60 table games and over 2,600 of the most popular slot and video poker machines. We have penny slots, including the popular Buffalo games, and real machines like Wheel of Fortune, Triple Sevens, and Megabucks. If you prefer video poker, try Deuces Wild, Double Double Bonus, or a variety of multi-denomination games. Or try your hand at one of the most popular casino table games in the world, Blackjack. Don't let the game intimidate you. Blackjack, also known as 21, is both easy and fun. And our dealers are always happy to assist. And the best part? Blackjack always pays 3 to 2. Next, check out the roulette tables. Roulette is one of the easiest casino games to learn, and so much fun to play. It's a favorite of both beginners and seasoned players. In addition to blackjack and roulette, our casino pit features over 60 popular table games like Baccarat, Pai Gow Poker, 3-Card Poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and Mississippi Stud. So get out of your room and come join in the fun.
Welcome back in. Sports by the Book is the show. I'm Jeff Parles. The whole gang is here. Jimmy Vaccaro to my left, Chris Andrews, Vinny Magliulo, almost 150 years between the three of them behind the counter in the state of Nevada alone. That doesn't even account Vinny's days on the playground as well in Long Island there, Vinny.
Had to supplement my tuition.
There we go. I have a question for you, Chris, because one other property, and shout out to Jay Cornegay and company.
Good friend of ours. We've had him on our show.
I have not. Yeah, he was with Matt and Alex earlier this week. I had not seen this one before.
Okay.
And I'm curious what your thoughts are, just like eyeballing it from afar here. Will the final score be a final score that have occurred in a past Super Bowl?
Whoa.
Ooh, wow.
The yes is 4-1. This is the 58th version of this game.
Wow.
Isn't that a fascinating prop with a price that feels like, hey, this feels good to bet it on the yes, but clearly the odds are not.
Let me just tell you right now, I'm sure Jay has done his homework.
Oh, I'm sure, yes.
So, Jeff, it looks like an automatic yes. Oh, heck, I'm going to throw $20 on that. Yeah.
Nice prop.
That's a good prop. My hat's off to Jay Cornegay, but I did call him a dirty rat the other day because he really made his bones with all these props, and we've all been trying to catch up to Jay ever since. But he's really done a lot for this industry, and kudos to him. At least sometimes. There's times when I want to kill Jay for doing all this work and making me do the same. But that's a really good prop.
Yeah, that's
a good prop.
That's one of the. I've never. I don't. Who knows? Maybe one of these newer books did it, but I have not seen that one in Nevada before.
I've never seen that. That's a really interesting prop. Boy, like I said, your inclination is to bet yes, but like I said, I'm sure Jay has done his homework.
Yeah, I mean, like just eyeballing it here, like generic scores like 21-17 have been finals. You should know the final of that one pretty well, Chris.
I do. I know 35-31 too.
Yeah, 35-31 as well. 27-17. 30-13, 34-7, 27. Like there's a 24-21. Like there's a lot of generic scores that have come up on finals for the game, for the big game. And then you also have 43-8, which I don't think we're repeating again.
That one would be at least 4-1.
They also had they also had will the Super Bowl end in a scoregami?
Oh, yeah.
Which is a score that's never happened in league history.
Okay.
I don't remember what the price was, but it was double digits.
Yeah. Well, I was with a guy last night. Just quick story. He's betting, and this wasn't this year, this was a couple years ago. He's betting exact scores, 38-31, 14-7, whatever.
Yeah.
And he said him and his group, they had about 10 of these that they thought were mispriced, and all pretty big numbers. So like he said, we had 8 of them, or 10 of them that we thought were mispriced. So he bets the first 6, and then whoever he's working for whoever's at the counter gets a call from upstairs. You can't let this guy bet any more. He's betting $2,000 each. You can't because he stands to kill us. I says, wait a second. How many? I said, well, if you hit all these, you're going to kill us. How many of these do you think can hit? And the guy just like his eyes glaze over. Well, regardless, you can only bet 1,000 on the rest of it. There's only one that could probably none of them are going to hit.
You can only
but
hit one
only
of them.
one. I can't win more than one. One would be the most. One would be a miracle. But this is what goes on. Need I say it was a European book?
Oh, I'm
So,
stunned.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
stunned.
shocked.
That revelation there, Chris. Yes, he can only bet 1,000 on the rest of them, but only one outcome can happen.
Yeah.
That's good.
And probably going to be
And it's
none.
probably going to be
And he
zero
told
for
me,
what
he
he
says,
bet.
yeah, because we didn't hit any of them. But, he goes, I saved 4,000,
I'm looking at these scores real quick. I don't think two of them have ended the same.
Is that right?
I'm looking at them right now.
Is that right? Wow, that's pretty
Real
wild.
quick.
There's two ways to look at that. Now you have 58 different possibilities.
Wow.
One thing, another public service announcement. We have a good friend over here, Dan, from the Washington Post. Reason I brought that up, young man, and obviously this is where it comes from now. Everybody in the world covers something, and obviously he's just probably one of 50 newspapers who are in town for the entire weekend because it's more than that. Yeah. But it's a fascinating racket to run. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously it can bring you to your knees at times. It can make you feel real good at times. But like what I was getting at is like we're drawing people, whatever from all aspects of the world, and it shows now because all of a sudden, to some degree, not 100%. The gambling people were okay. Used to be a time where we couldn't do anything. But like as you see now, the Washington Post sent this young man out, obviously, to do a story on that. That helps the growth of the game.
Absolutely. But, we've seen that all our lives. As soon as, with, my former son-in-law was a rocket scientist, and I was out with a bunch of his friends, and these guys were all geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking me about the business. How do you do that? I think I copied a Jerry Seinfeld line. I'm much more comfortable in the company of nitwits. All these rocket scientists.
Wow.
So I want to just go to a few props real quick, Chris.
Okay.
Just starting with an old friend of yours, the exact score for each team. We got the exact final score in a different book, but you have the for each team.
Yeah.
Where will they land?
Yeah.
Obviously, the fun story from the 13-3 game a few years ago that we always reference. But are there any numbers where bettors, obviously, they're going to bet your generic point totals that we talked about before? Are there any oddball numbers that have popped up so far? Or is that one of those where it's like, all right, got a quarter to go in a game, type in the current score, and it's like, oh, wait a second here. We don't need San Francisco to be stuck on 8 here the rest of the way.
There's none of those, but I do have some low numbers that guys took shots on, like 7, 10, 13, 14, 17, which are all fairly low numbers, but not totally uncommon. So those have some vulnerability on some of those. And then there's a couple higher ones, too. I think, where am I at here? 35, I think, for one of the teams. Yeah, 35, 30, 31. Yeah, 31's a bad one for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's a couple different ones, but nothing, 31's a relatively common score, so nothing, none of the crazy ones. No, like 4, like the Iowa Penn State game a couple years ago came 6-4. None of those.
If either team lands on 4 in this Super Bowl, I know I know the bet on the will there be a repeating score?
Jake could lock that one up.
I think you're okay on that one. Also, people love betting the first score of the game as well.
Yeah.
The player to score the first touchdown. I know. I was going through a few books today, Chris, and I just want to double check here. Kyle Juszczyk has been a player. I don't know why. I know Jason Weingarten we had on last week loved Kyle Juszczyk. But
there's a price.
No, I know. Well, they're 40-1s are mostly gone in the market on Kyle Juszczyk, if not completely gone at this point. To score the first touchdown of the game, but there was one book that had something that was a little bit funky number wise. Juszczyk's number to score the first touchdown of the game was only $5. Was $5 more than him to score the first Niner touchdown, which was bizarre.
Yeah, well, that's weird.
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
So in that case, I scooped up the Niner first touchdown as opposed to the full game.
Sure. Yeah. I remember when we first started this. I I had, but just getting started. I remember it was the Giants. I remember the Broncos were involved. Was it Giants Broncos?
Yeah, Super Bowl.
That was the
21.
Giants' first Super Bowl championship.
Super Bowl
Okay.
21.
Yeah, and I had the money line, and then the Broncos +3 were the exact same price. And somebody pointed out to me, why would I? I said, oh yeah, geez, I gotta go start looking at some of these. But you live and you learn with some of those, and we do make some mistakes along the way. We actually make a lot of them along the way.
That was.
But I think I'm okay with Juszczyk. Probably not now that I'm thinking about it, but I can't remember. I got so many things out there.
That game you referenced, by the way, didn't matter. That was 39-20.
Yeah, that was
1987.
That was the one where Sims was almost perfect, correct?
He was
like 21 to 22 or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Bill Walton, but something like that.
Sims was the MVP that game, so I think I had that one. Right.
Yeah.
Hostetler, of course, played the wide right game, as we
Super
know.
Bowl 25.
Yeah. There was a list that I saw. I forget which major outlet it was. Had the wide right game as the best Super Bowl of all time. Now I
Really?
wasn't on the planet for that yet. Sorry, Vinny.
No.
Again.
But it was
No.
that seemed a little surprising, especially with that run where we referenced the Santonio Holmes game. Which, by the way, I actually met Santonio Holmes
Did
last
you?
night. He
Wow.
was around in downtown Vegas.
What a great game.
Yeah, that was an
Is
amazing.
he a good
game.
guy?
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Well, again, he of course made the famous catch for the Steelers to win that Super Bowl against the Cardinals.
Great catch, unbelievable pass.
Yeah,
If you
well,
look, they've
Roethlisberger,
shown
yeah.
the back view of that, how Roethlisberger had to thread that needle. Incredible.
And also for Holmes, he had a
Both
short stint with the Jets
Yeah.
where he was on the Jet team that, of course, then lost to Pittsburgh in the AFC title game.
Okay.
So connected over that. That was a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Okay.
But that seemed a little bit surprising that the
Yeah.
wide right game. I mean, there was a lot going on. Of course, that was the Whitney Houston
Yeah.
anthem, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I believe so.
During the Gulf War, close game, arguably the most memorable ending to a Super Bowl as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Missing a kick that would have given Buffalo a title, and who knows? Maybe they wouldn't have lost 4 straight if Norwood makes that kick.
You're right. I think they probably would not have.
Hey, one kick changed the course.
Well, you know
of
what?
everything.
That brings up another point that I want to make about this game. Who do
Yeah.
you think the more pressure's on? I think it's on the 49ers.
You know, it's
by
an in-
quite a bit.
So it's an that's an interesting question.
49er players or 49er coaches?
Coach and players. I think I think the pressure is on the 49ers.
You know, it's
Our friend Dave Damashek calls it the curse of supposed to. They're supposed to win.
It's an interesting question because during the NFC playoffs, yes, 100%,
Mhm.
where they were double-digit favorites against Green Bay, and they were a touchdown and some points of the week over a touchdown against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, supposed to win those.
Mm-hmm.
They barely did,
Barely.
but they got it done
They did.
in both of those games. Now they're here, and they're a favorite, but they're going up against the modern-day Goliath right now. The team that's won 2 of the team that beat them back in Miami in the 2019 season, 2020 Super Bowl, and the team that just won it all a year ago. And by the way, this is the weakest team, quote unquote, weakest team Kansas City has had in the Mahomes era, and here they are still in the game. I don't think I think I agree with that. I think it's more on San Francisco than Kansas
I
City.
think like Vinny made a good point. That might be upper the office and the coach.
I think there's tremendous pressure on Shanahan. Then maybe the front office. But certainly, when you look at it, you're not going to be surprised by either team. But from a pressure standpoint, I mean, Brock Purdy, has he got a lot of pressure on him? I think he's handling it pretty good. The players are going to be back. I think the coaches are going to be back too. But this is there's been so much of a buildup, right, for this San Francisco team since the last appearance with the same coaching staff. To Jeff's point, I think this is Kansas City's best defense under with Mahomes in the Mahomes era. It's not their best offense.
No.
It's the best defense, though.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
It's definitely their best defense. So
Yeah.
pressure. I think there's pressure in different aspects for both teams when it comes to that.
Well, not only that, for Brock Purdy, he wasn't supposed to be here. He's Mr. Irrelevant.
He's pretty relevant now.
He's pretty relevant now, Vinny. You're darn right on that. Again, it is interesting. Like also like just taking the pulse of just what media members think, even people that are around the league. It's still hard to find. Of course, you have the one big bettor who came in and took the big chunk on the Niners here, but it still seems that more opinion is on the Kansas City side as the underdog still.
Yeah, the ticket count is way in favor of Kansas City. No question about it.
You think the girl had something to do with it?
I don't think so. No, I think Mahomes has a lot to do with it.
Okay. But that's a perfect game for the woman to say to her husband, "Yeah, get me a ticket on that, and we're going to go down and watch the game." But first of all, you're right, Mr. Andrews. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen in this game. This is the closest game I think I've seen in quite a while.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, I honestly have no opinion on this game. And I've told Michael that from the beginning. Whoever we need, that's who I'm going to root for. I have no opinion here.
Great in-game opportunity.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
100%.
Especially with the longer breaks, with the commercials and things. So
On as you mentioned, we talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Sure.
Commercial breaks will be pushing 3.5 minutes.
yeah,
Got to get those ads in.
sure.
$7 million a minute. Why not?
Well, and also too the halftime as well.
Yeah.
Halftime is
Extended halftime.
almost triple what a normal
Yeah.
NFL halftime is.
It's good for business. A lot more time to book action.
They don't get that much time either, do they, on the halftime, the show? My man Usher, how many minutes are they going to give him?
About 25 minutes.
Well,
something
the
like
whole
that.
halftime's usually around 27, 28 minutes. They'll probably get about 12, 10, give or take. Probably 10.
Okay.
I think that's what it usually is. But the normal NFL halftime is just 12.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
we're more than double once we get to that. All right. We'll take one last break. When we get back, a few more props, final thoughts on the game as well. And also, who knows, we may have another story time before we get out of here today. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Welcome back in. Final segment for us, Sports by the Book, here on a Football Friday. Our final one of the 2023 season. It has been a heck of a ride through the year. We've been happy to be with you every single Friday, going through whatever fun action has come through the book on that week. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to be sitting with you guys every single Friday.
Thank
job.
you.
Good
Thank
job.
You were the first hire. for this studio.
Good job, Jeffrey.
Always will be happy about that.
Your employment number is one.
Number one. First time ever, right? So
It's like Jimmy's social security number.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that was a low blow.
Ouch.
That was a
There
low
he goes.
blow.
That's a mic. Oh, that's a mic drop.
So we're going to end the show today. So Alex White and I will be back tomorrow. Normal show, 8:30 to 10. James Salinas, very respected.
Oh, I love James
Football
Salinas.
better. Won the super contest multiple times.
Terrific handicapper.
In studio tomorrow at 9 a.m. He was texting me this morning. Hey, is Chris going to be there? I was like, yeah, Chris will be booking college basketball tomorrow morning.
Yeah, he's going to be in
He will be in studio.
In studio?
He's
I
coming.
will definitely come by and say hello to him.
James Salinas will be in studio tomorrow
Terrific
at 9
guy.
a.m.
Is he
Yeah,
doing the whole show?
I think 9 to 9:30
Okay.
tomorrow.
Class guy and an A1 handicap.
Good job.
Absolutely. And again, multiple time super contest
Yeah.
winner as well. And then Sunday, our coverage, 8:30 to 10:30, Alex White and I previewing everything you need to know for the game. And then we'll have on the top of each hour up until 3 o'clock on Sunday, doing spots on just where the market is going.
Yeah.
Frank Nicotero will be in here. And then you want to say hello to us? We'll
Yeah, we
be
have a
wandering.
booth over there.
We'll
We've
be wandering
reserved for
through
you.
the day.
I'll try to get my voice back.
I hope so.
I don't need it to book, though.
We'll get you some Ricola. We'll be okay. We'll be in good shape there. So to end the show here, as Jimmy is waving to all of his fans in the back.
You ever stop? You're getting like Michael Gone. You just
What,
you keep digging me.
No, come on, Jimmy.
So
All right, I'll accept it.
Never, Jimmy. You are, and no disrespect to either of you two.
Oh, we yield to Jimmy. Don't worry.
You are the most beloved person in this studio by a pretty significant.
Well, no, see, I don't believe that.
I'm no nonsense
Why
for
don't
me.
you-
on
It's
that.
not even
Why don't
close.
you
Yeah.
believe it?
Not even close.
That's why you got the sweatshirt.
That's why Michael Gone refuses to sell that sweatshirt to anybody but Jimmy. But he doesn't sell it to Jimmy. He gives it to Jimmy.
Well, okay, let's call it like it is. He gave me my first job 49 years ago.
Mhm.
Michael Gone. All right, then I'll tell you my best Super Bowl or worst Super Bowl. Want me to go first or last?
Please.
Okay, I was just a young whippersnapper in the 79 Super Bowl. That was the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm at the Royal Inn. That was Michael's first little casino. We had 3 windows and not even a phone. If I wanted to talk to him, I had to go to the casino cage and talk to Michael Gone or anyone who wanted to talk to me. And so the game actually opened up. The Steelers were a little of a favorite, maybe 3.5 or 4. And that particular point in time, obviously, there was a lot of money on the dog. And then conversely, when the friend of ours wanted to get rid of it, he went to 3 with the Steelers. So that game went up to 4.5. So here it is, this youngster. I'm like, everything's cool. Another Super Bowl. I'm ready to go. Now I'm a big-time guy in Las Vegas. What a score come 35-31, which means like I come with the guys who made fun of me, used to walk up to the casino cashier after that the score was, and I say, Jimmy, which ticket do you want me to cash first, the Steelers or the Cowboys? We got middled. Michael Gone calls. I get to the cage with him. He says, how is it? He was on his boat in the Pacific Ocean somewhere. So he put it all on me. So he finally got through and said, Jimmy, what do we do? I said, Michael Gone, do you want the good news or the bad news? He said, okay, give me the bad news. And this is 1979. I said, we lost $185,000. Silence for about 5 seconds. He said, okay, give me the good news. I said, here's the good news. We only lost $185,000. Click. End of story. I'm passing it on to Mr. Anderson.
50 years later, he's still here. It wasn't that bad. I'll tell my story. I'll try to tell it quick. Early in the 1985 season, I saw the Bears, and I said, oh, my God, this is one of the best teams I've ever seen. Somebody had a 10-1 on them to win the Super Bowl.
Whoa.
I made a pretty good bet on them at 10-1 to win the Super Bowl. Rode them all year. By the way, the week Marino beat them on Monday Night Football, I bet on Miami that night. So that was, so now we get to the Super Bowl, and my dear Uncle Jack, who's the most respected guy I've ever had in my life, I tell him what I got, Oh, and by the way, so we had, some guy was trying to follow that, stuff that like Lefty and them did. He opened the Super Bowl, Bears -7 and New England +9. So a friend of mine called me, says, they opened -7. How much you got on you? He told me how much. Bet it all -7. I says, I'll split it with you but give me, if you want, I said, but give me every penny you got on -7. So I have 10-1 on them to win the Super Bowl, and then I pressed -7. So the number was hanging around like 10.5, 11. I tell my Uncle Jack what I got. He says, you gotta take back 10.5. You gotta take back 11. You gotta hedge yourself out. I ain't hedging anything. I said, Jack, I'm telling you right now, they will annihilate this. No, you're a professional. I said, Jack, I'm telling you right now, I am not hedging back a thing. And I didn't hedge back one penny. It was one of the biggest scores of my life.
46-10. Wasn't even that close.
They scored because they scored first. New England. They scored 3-0, and then they had an by the way touchdown late. But it was a total massacre.
A pretty important touchdown for everyone on this.
Right
on this table.
Not for me because I told her, and all my friends were booking that refrigerator Perry thing. I said, I'm telling you right now, Mike Ditka is going to stick it up the rear ends of Las Vegas. He's going to put refrigerator Perry. I refuse to book it. I wouldn't book it.
Still paying that bet. One way, fridge to score. You had to bring it up. That's your favorite one?
That's my favorite.
57 other Super Bowls, you picked that one?
Well, I got a bunch of good ones, but that's the one that stuck in my mind
Still
first.
Paying that bet. Super Bowl 31, Packers. Again, the Patriots. Number 14, Green Bay. Game comes 14. Exactly. Great refund. So you got the Super Bowl. I got everybody in the world betting on the game. What do? You know, now you're not just paying one side and at the time a few propositions. You have to pay everybody. You got to give them their money back. So nobody goes home. Everybody stays home. And as many windows cashing like we do here, really, when you think about it.
Sure. As
we're writing the bets, writing the game. So I thought, well, what do we do with this? We got to try to take advantage of this. I mean, for almost, it went through the night. So I put up the following year's Super Bowl, NFC, AFC. Don't wait till next year. Bet the Super Bowl now. Not just the futures, but bet the Super Bowl. Did over $100,000 worth of business overnight and betting Super Bowl the following year.
That Desmond Howard game, right?
Yeah. He was MVP, I think.
He was MVP, yeah. That's
One
right.
more thing you want to jump in on. I think there's only been 2 losers with when we booked the Super Bowl in about 40 years, right? Not too many losers because there's so much juice in there, and that's with the props helping everything else. So it's usually been a good outcome. A good outcome.
No guarantee. No guarantee.
A couple of years ago, we was it 18? We broke about even statewide, but that was when the props were real good here.
Yeah, we did real good.
Yeah.
I've told that story about us. Maneuvering the prop. I told her earlier in this show.
That was the Philly.
We won about a third of the entire state.
Yeah, the state basically broke even.
Yeah, we won $400,000 that day, and I give a ton of credit to my friend here, Jimmy Vaccaro, for helping me a ton that day. But we were on the fly. I mean, I don't even know if I had a hot dog that day. I was so busy. I never had a chance.
I know what
to
you had
eat.
after the game.
I know what I had after the game. Took 2 hours to put all the props in. I was on the Jameson by that time.
That should have been a telltale sign because that was the best for me betting. That was the best Super Bowl I ever had. So that should have been a telltale sign that everyone.
State did not do well, but we did at the South Point.
Yeah.
Might get some Jameson right now.
Told the story in full last week.
Just the true story.
Before we get out of here, I just want to bring this up again. The fact that this game is here, the fact that the Super Bowl has come to Las Vegas after all the years of basically the adversarial relationship between the National Football League and this city, and after being on Radio Row this week and being at events around town, this event, assuming that there's nothing crazy that happens in the next 48 hours or so, this event is going to be here every 5-6 years. And there's not, I talking with other media members, I don't think there's a better city in the country for this because of
that right?
The stadium is walkable from the media hotel.
Yeah.
Even if you're staying here, it's an easy Uber ride. I mean, it's so convenient in comparison to where a friend of mine was telling me about the Miami Super Bowl when these two teams played, where it'd be, all right, 45 minutes from Radio Row back to the hotel, 4 hours after the game to get home to the hotel. I mean, that's not going to happen here.
Nobody puts on an event like Las Vegas.
No one does.
They really don't.
Nobody. Period.
Well,
a lot of great places, a lot of great cities, a lot of great fans. Nothing like Las Vegas.
Niners and Chiefs. At it again. Niners right now 2-point favorites. Heading to the evening here on Friday as we are now less than 48 hours away from the game kicking off. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure as always. A lot of fun on these Football Friday shows. We'll still have you here on Fridays. We'll just be talking something else.
Yeah.
College
hoops. NBA.
Let's thank the guys behind the counter here.
Sean
and Sean.
And great work as always. Our crew through the year doing a great job as always. Jimmy, Vinny, Chris, great work.
Jump, Jeff.
I'm Jeff Parles. We'll see you again tomorrow, 8:30. Myself, Alex White, get you going, college hoops. And, of course, this big game that is named after the Super Bowl. We'll get the Super Bowl talk for this one tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning here on Sports by the Book. We'll see you then.